Welcome, everybody, to the College Basketball Preview Show on the Grueling True Sports Network. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Today, we're going to look at tonight's battle in the Big Ten between the USC Trojans and the Purdue Boilermakers. If you want to bet on this game, click on the link in the description down below. If you're watching on YouTube, go to BetMGM, the top sports book for betting on college basketball. All right, number 7 Purdue appears prime for a third consecutive Big Ten regular season title. I think there's no doubt that they are the best team in the Big Ten right now. Michigan State had a much easier Big Ten schedule. They've come back to the pack with a couple losses on the West Coast. And we've got USC, who's 13-9. They're in the middle of the pack and having an up and down season in the conference. This has all the makings of a dominant home victory for the Boilermakers as USC plays its first game at hostile Mackey Arena. Purdue was 11-1 at home with 7 double-digit victories, including a 91-64 rout, or then number 21 Michigan. The Boilermakers are beating conference opponents by an average of 15 points at home. Their only loss at home, the only mess-up, was the Ohio State game where they blew a 16-point lead and lost to the Buckeyes. Purdue is tied for number 3 nationally with 7 quad 1 wins. The Boilermakers will bottle up the Trojans with their stingy defense, which ranks 4th in the Big Ten in points allowed. And Purdue's last 10 games has allowed just 65 points per game. Now, meanwhile, when we look at USC, they're going to have trouble containing junior guard Braden Smith as a facilitator and outside shooter. Smith is 3rd in the nation in assists at almost 9 a game. His elite passing will disorient a shaky Trojan defense that's 15th in points allowed and 14th in field goal percentage, which is 44.6% in the Big Ten. Now, USC is 5-5 in its last 10 games. The Trojans haven't lost on the road by double digits since January 8th at Indiana. Once again, they lost at Indiana by double digits. Tells you a lot about USC. Of course, they did beat Illinois. You know, they followed that Indiana loss by 13 up with an impressive win over Illinois. But the injuries had a lot to do with why USC won that game. Illinois was missing one of their big guys, so it's harder to even call it an upset. But the Boilermakers boast a pair of top-notch players that's difficult to corral. You know, you've got the stellar three-point shooting of Braden Smith and junior forward Trey Kaufman-Renn will stretch out USC's defense and create additional scoring opportunities for the role players. Now, KenPom currently ranks Smith 3rd and Kaufman-Renn 6th in the National Player of the Year race. Purdue is number 4 nationally in efficiency since January. Now, when we look at this, USC has some firepower, but I don't think they have the firepower to combat the outstanding level of balance that Purdue has. Also, Purdue excels in the turnover battle as the Boilermakers are plus 6.60 in their last 10 games. Purdue is number 5 nationally in defensive turnover rate since January. Purdue will protect the ball, and they will protect the home court. The point spread is 12.5 points. It worries me a little bit here because maybe you could get a backdoor cover by USC, and USC is not a terrible team. But on the road, their significant win was against Illinois, who was missing their big-time guard at that point. So it's really hard to have a whole lot of faith in what we've seen with USC as they travel to Purdue. Now, Purdue did not play well the last couple Friday nights on national TV at home. They struggled to beat Indiana. Luckily for Purdue, Mike Woodson's the head coach, so they ended up pulling it out at the end. And then they had the aforementioned game where they lost to the Ohio State Buckeyes after blowing a 16-point lead. When all is said and done, no, Purdue's one of the best teams in the country. And the thing that may surprise people, maybe this is like Tennessee football. They had Peyton Manning. Purdue had Zach Edey. Couldn't win it all. The year after Peyton Manning left Tennessee, they won it all with T. Martin. Maybe they can win it all with Kaufman-Renn because this Purdue team is fully capable of winning a national championship and making a deep run. Now, I think the best teams in the country, Auburn, Duke, Alabama, but I think Purdue is right up there just nipping at their heels. I like Purdue tonight. I like them by more than 12.5. Go bet the game at BetMGM. Click on the link in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on X at Grueling Truth. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube, and check out thegruelingtruth.com. But for now, guys, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.